Imagine standing in a desert, surrounded by silence. The sun beats down on cracked earth. And beneath your feet, buried deep in the dust, is the foundation of a tower. One that ancient kings believed touched the sky. Taller than the Great Pyramid of Giza, wider than most castles in Europe, and almost completely forgotten. This isn't myth. This isn't metaphor. This was real. The Great Ziggurat of Babylon, Etemenanki, the temple of the foundation of heaven and earth. More than just a mouthful, it was a marvel. A wonder of the ancient world centuries before wonders became a checklist. Let's rewind to the year 600 BCE. Babylon is at its peak, rising from the Mesopotamian plain like a phoenix of mud brick and ambition. The city buzzed with life. Markets, scribes, temple rituals, mathematicians mapping the stars. It was not some desert outpost. This was the cultural superpower of its day. And at its center, the beating heart, Etemenanki. According to the Esagila tablet, discovered in the 1800s and written in Babylonian cuneiform, the tower stood 91 meters tall. That's nearly 300 feet. To put that in perspective, that's like stacking the Statue of Liberty on top of itself. Without modern tools, just brick, bitumen, and belief. They weren't guessing. They had engineered architects. They measured the stars. They understood load-bearing stress, water drainage, and thermal expansion. People tend to imagine the ancients as primitive. But these were not people scratching in caves. They were building sky ladders before steel even existed. And here's where it gets wild. The ziggurat might not just be history. It could be legend, because many scholars believe this exact structure inspired the Tower of Babel. The book of Genesis tells the tale of humans building a tower to reach heaven. God, unimpressed, scatters them and confuses their language. Now pause, what if that's not just a story? What if it was a cultural memory of Etemenanki? The biblical version paints it as arrogance, but the Babylonian records, they show reverence. Each level was sacred, dedicated to gods. At the top, a shrine to Marduk, Babylon's supreme deity. Fires were kept burning. Priests offered daily rituals. They believed they were keeping the universe in balance. So no, this wasn't a skyscraper. It was a spiritual engine. Now picture this, you're walking up those 7 massive levels, each one taking you closer to the stars. At night, the fires at the top flickered like a second sun over the city, a lighthouse of divine presence. From the Euphrates to the outer city walls, it dominated every view. And unlike Egyptian pyramids, which were tombs, Etemenanki was alive. It wasn't built for the dead. It was for the living and the gods. Pattern interrupt. Light humor. Also, imagine being a Babylonian teen who had to climb all 91 meters just to light the ceremonial fire. Ancient cardio, no elevators. No thank you. But like all great thing, time came knocking. Floods, earthquakes, foreign invasions. All slowly chipped away at Babylon's crown jewel. When Alexander the Great entered the city in 331 BCE, the tower was in bad shape. Still majestic, but leaning. He ordered it torn down, not to erase it, but to rebuild it stronger. He wanted to make Babylon his capital, a fusion of East and West. But then he died suddenly, in his 30s. Without him, the dream collapsed. Successors argued. Funding vanished. The site became cursed with delay and failure. Years later, Antiochus I attempted to resurrect it, but even he eventually gave up and destroyed more than he saved. And here's the saddest part. The people of Babylon stopped caring. They needed homes, roads, forts. And what better source of material than a giant pile of bricks in the middle of town? So they took it brick by brick, until only whispers remained. Today there's nothing left, just a scar in the earth. Archaeologists believe it lies near the ruins of Esagila, the temple complex. And yet, even in its disappearance, Etemenanki leaves an imprint. Think about this. Humans built a tower 2,600 years ago that rivaled the greatest structures of today. Then we forgot where we put it. Why? Because stories fade, because civilizations fall, because memory is fragile, but ambition that lasts. From the Eiffel Tower to the Burj Khalifa to rockets aimed at Mars, we're still reaching, still building sky ladders, still whispering to the stars. We don't build ziggurats anymore, but we build stories. And that is how legends live on. Speaking of forgotten legends, what if I told you there was a man, taken from Africa, who became a samurai in feudal Japan? Not fiction, not anime, history. Click here to discover the incredible journey of Yasuke, the black samurai who served a Japanese lord in the 1500s, a man lost to time until now. Because some towers fall, but some stories still stand.